Well, hello. My name is Hannah and I'm the C5 Nut. Right, today is Wednesday and we'll be going back to where my car's parked. And today we're gonna focus on removing the exhaust system and also replace it. I had a really bad day yesterday. Not because of the car. It's basically, it was far too hot yesterday, and when I was basically underneath the car making sure that what I'd got planned for today was going to go okay, my back decided to play up and I had to get home quick. For those out there who have lower back issues, you know exactly what I mean. As soon as you get some pains and twitches, you try to fight on. But yesterday my symptoms were getting worse, so I had to just leave everything as it was, quickly get in the car and quickly get home, and try and put my back in order again. There is a few techniques, obviously your physiotherapy will tell you how to do, but yeah, it took me forever last night to try and be pain free. It was really bad, so hopefully today we'll be having a bit of a good one. Also yesterday it was so hot, I mean you could actually cook an egg on the car. I tried to use my phone, but my phone had enough. It was far too hot to touch. That's the only problem with phones nowadays. Most of them are black, and obviously you're outside working and the whole thing just gets so hot. So as I was halfway through doing some recording on my phone shut off because it was too hot, and unfortunately I've lost some footage. So I'll do my best today to try and bring you up to speed with what I've done and all the other bits and pieces. So, right, what more can I say? Let's get this show on the road. Well, hello. Right, we're currently under my green C5 at the moment. As you can see, this is a diesel particulate filter, and at the front there's a catalytic converter. Right, now this is seen sort of, it's been on there. It's been on the car for about 18 years, and as you can see it's missing a bolt there and whatnot. Unfortunately well, as you can see there's a sensor there and another sensor there. Unfortunately the CAT and DPF that I got, the DPF has that sensor but not that sensor. So I'm gonna have to just replace the rear exhaust box and center pipe, and I'm gonna have to come back to this at a later date, only because with current climate I can't get one anywhere. So I'm just gonna have to leave that on for a minute. Right, so here is this is what I've done yesterday. Is I've taken the clamp off. I'll go more in depth with how to get these clamps off shortly, but what I want to do is I want to take this center pipe off and also the exhaust rear box off. I want to take it as one big lump off, and then I can then put it side by side with my new exhaust. My new exhaust, I have to modify it just slightly, and there's a tiny bit of welding involved, nothing too serious, but yeah. Right, so I've undone this clamp here, and I've got to undo these two bushes here, and there is another clamp just on the exhaust, but I'm going to leave that on until the whole thing comes off, and then obviously I can do another video showing how to get those horseshoe clamps off. And again, the rear box has only got a couple of rubber mounts, very similar to this one here. So we'll take all of this off, get the exhaust box off, and we can have another look at it. Right, I'm gonna crack on. I'm very limited with distance under this car, so I can't do the work and film at the same time. So I'll come back to you as soon as I've got the exhaust off and we can have another look at it. Okay, ladies and gents, right, I've taken the old exhaust off. As you can see, it's completely rotten there on that bloody bracket. And also the mount, well, the clamp there is completely rotten as well. The rest of the pipe isn't too bad. This here is my replacement. It is second hand, only because a brand new box with this comes out to about 150 quid. Now, while I was down at the local scrapyard getting some parts for another C5, I came across a C5 that has the same exhaust box as mine, and you can tell by the condition of it, it's only probably a couple of months old. Only downfall is I had to cut the pipe because my little Fiat Cinquecento that I have, it wouldn't fit as a complete hole into the car, so I had to cut the pipe. So today's task is rejoining this. What I'm going to do is cut part of the old pipe, cut it down, and then use that as a sleeve for the inside of the pipe, and then weld the two together, so the actual sleeve part of inside the pipe will be a lot stronger, and obviously that also helps with trying to make a good seal on the welds. So that's what I'll be doing. Yeah, it's always best to go and check down at the scrapyard once in a while, because parts like these, I think I only paid £10 for this exhaust, and compared with 150 quid, I'd be stupid not to use second-hand parts. But yeah, like I said, it's only a couple of months old, if that. It's amazing what you can find in the scrapyard. Right, I'm going to crack on and I'll come back to you. Okay, we're back at the exhaust. What I've done, I'll get into the light here. What I've done is I cut a section off the old exhaust, cut a bit of a gap in there, and then rammed the exhaust in through this pipe. So what I'm going to do is attach that to the other side, line up the marks that I've already made on the side here, line it up, and then weld it right round. So where I've actually put the weld in to connect these two pipes together, it's still being strong because of this inner part. This inner part is about 4 inches long, so as long as I can get some of this into the other pipe and then weld around the seams, that should be as solid as anything. Okay, obviously I didn't do the video of me welding this exhaust. This is the welder I currently own. It's a Clark MiG 145 turbo. You can run it on the CO2 gas, and there's also the option to run it on gasless, which is what I've done here. Now, the gasless system, you don't need the CO2. The actual wire itself is it's almost like a sort of like an aluminium type colour, and then the copper stuff, obviously that's what you need to run for the CO2 stuff. But the gasless stuff, I find it's all right. Obviously, when you come to do some welding, it does sort of spit and give a bit of a nasty sort of look. But once you weld and obviously clean it up with an angle grinder, in all fairness, that's come up pretty well. Including around the corner here. As you can see, I didn't do a bad job. So what I'm going to do now is let it cool off a little bit more, and then I'll put some high temperature paint on there, so that should help give it a bit of protection for rust and all that corrosion stuff. So, right, I'm gonna whack some paint on, give it half an hour or so just to dry off, and then it's a matter of bunging it back on the car again. Right, I'll see you soon. Okay, ladies and gents, right, we're back underneath the car. I've quickly painted the exhaust system. As you can see, it's looking pretty good under here. I didn't paint the tips only because I've run out of paint. I've just had enough to do the back box and obviously part of the pipe. So as you can see, if I'll lay down, let's sort this out right. There is the centre sphere. That's what we're gonna do next, and obviously replace that ram on that side as well. Not to mention the hydraulic pipes, because they're very heavily corroded. I've had this car for 11 years and I've never taken these rams off, even that centre sphere off. So it's gonna be, well, it's very rusty and very dirty, and you can see just on the edge of that ram there, it's leaking quite badly. So that will be the next thing for us to do. So what I'm going to do is take the jack off, get the car back on its wheels. We're going to turn it around so it's facing the other way, and then we can then jack the car back up again, get it on some axle stands, and start taking the driver's rear ram off. That will be hopefully a project for tomorrow. I've done quite a lot today. As you could probably hear my voice, it's yeah, it's bloody hot. So yeah, I'm sorry, it's just odds and sods sort of video at the moment. It's really hard. Obviously, you know, limited space under the car, and yeah, I'm not making excuses. It's just, it's at the moment, it's really hard trying to use the phone. My camera parts still haven't turned up, so yeah, I can't tell you any more about that because I don't have the answers for that. So yeah, hopefully fairly soon, when my new camera turns up, I should be able to get you better footage than just using my phone. Right, okay, well, I'm going to take the car off the ramp, off the blocks, and turn it around. Okay, people, so I've turned the car around from, you know, literally just turning it around, and as I'm reversing back, I hit the foot brake, and my foot went straight to the floor. Looking into finding out why that is, it turns out that I've got a ruptured brake pipe which is above the fuel tank. So I've now got to jack up the front. I've now got to get the back end a bit higher than what it is, and that exhaust system I fitted this morning, I've now got to take it all off, so I can drop the fuel tank to get a hold of that brake pipe. So yeah, this is, you know, what I thought was just a couple of jobs here and there is looking like a complete restoration project for the back end. But I'm glad it's happened now and not sort of halfway down the road, so that's a bit of a blessing in disguise. So yeah, that sort of puts my plans out. Obviously, yeah, like I said, you know, I was going to start doing the hydro system tomorrow, but I've now got to put that on hold and sort the brake problem out. So I've ordered some more. I'm going to change the flexible hoses on the rear at the same time, so I might as well just get it all done all at the same time, and then once all of this is all done and so the car's gone, you know, back on its four wheels again, I'll put it in for an MOT, and then at least that, you know, I'm happy that the whole back end is near enough done. There is a slight oil leak on the front, which I think is due to one of the rocker cover gaskets is probably leaking, so it's probably another project for another day. But I think my main priority at the moment is try and sort these issues out, get it through the MOT, and then I'll worry about the rest later. Right, I'll speak to you soon. Okay, ladies and gents, as you are now aware, I've now got to take the exhaust box off again because I've now got a brake fluid leak, which is above the fuel tank. So these brackets here, I might as well explain more in depth about it since I've got to take it off again. If you undo this nut, it's like a horseshoe, so you undo this clamp here, and there's a special tool which I'll show you, which you can then prise it open to then slot it out. So what I'm going to do, if you grab your 16mm socket or spanner, put it in, like so. Right, let's get it again. Okay, so what you want to do is take it off all the way. There's a little collet there that needs to come off. So there's a nut, there's a little collet just there, and if you push this out, sometimes it'll come off, yeah, like so. Obviously we're going to use this clamp again, so I'm just going to put it back together and screw that back on. Now I've got this special tool, which is one of these, so as you squeeze it, it opens up. So if you put that just in there and then give it a squeeze, it's got a bit of a latch in there, so you can actually lock it and then you can let go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it off to one side and then release the clip. Now quite a few people use 2 screwdrivers in and bend it. The problem is with bending it like that, you then misalign these and it's just an absolute freaking nightmare to realign them to get the bolts back in again. So that is the proper tool you should be using to undo these horseshoe type clamps, and then obviously you just give a bit of a wiggle and the pipe's coming out. Right, okay, so I've just removed the exhaust pipe. As you can see, this is that centre sphere, and look how bad those hydraulic pipes are. That's really bad. And also the sphere is kind of leaking, so all of that's getting replaced. But my main job is getting that bloody fuel tank off, and it's leaked. Hang on a second. It's leaked just about here somewhere. So drop the tank and hopefully find out where roughly where the leak is. But yeah, so that sphere is getting replaced. Well, the whole unit's getting replaced actually. That's the sports mode. It's only on the exclusives that have this one, but the LX and the ZX, I'm sorry, the SX don't have that. But yeah, God, look how bad that pipe is. That is well and truly gone. Bloody nuts. But yeah, right, I think what I'm going to do now is, I've had enough of today. My back's absolutely killing me, so I'm going to call it a day. I'm just going to make sure I spray some WD-40 on the bolts for the tank and hopefully take it all down. But yeah, I thought I'd just give you a heads up on what I've now got to do really. So yeah. Right. Well, what a busy day. I know I still haven't got my glasses on, and I'm trying. Today's actually Thursday, believe it or not, and I'm trying to pick up the speed of, you know, sticking stuff on YouTube. For the last few days, I was not well at all to do any uploads, so that's why I've left it to obviously now while I'm slightly better. So yeah. Well, what can I say? It's an absolute shame that bloody brake pipe burst, because obviously Thursday was me hopefully going to show you some hydraulic stuff, but instead that's now taken, well, that's kind of put me behind really. So yeah, I end up doing some brake stuff instead, which is something I didn't really want to do, but you know, I'm glad it's happened really, rather than me go halfway down the road and the brake pipe snaps. So you know, I'm angry, but I'm happy at the same time, if that sort of makes any sense. But yeah, well, if that's what I gotta do, that's what I gotta do. Anyway, if you like my content, please give a thumbs up. If you wish to subscribe, please do. And any questions at all you may have, just send me a message and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Take care, people. See you soon.